Chapter 95 Farewell, my love, Ong. The blue dragon let out a roar and charged straight towards Gu Hai. Gu Hai slashed at it. Whew. The blade blasted through the blue dragon's body as if the blue dragon was just a shadow. It didn't touch at all. The Eastern Eighth roared with a hideous face. Aing-gi. Whistling, the underworld fire dragon instantly arrived in front of Gu Hai with a hideous face. Hoo. After slashing several times in a row, without cutting into the physical object, Gu Hai's face sank as Gu Hai felt that when that underworld fire dragon approached him, his divine soul shook for a while, as if he had met his nemesis. Fire coming, Gu Hai's face changed. The great fire of the fire god palace steeply rushed out of Gu Hai's body, and in an instant, reddish flames emerged from outside Gu Hai's body. With a punch, Gu Hai slammed into the lunging blue dragon. Boom! Fire against fire. This time, it finally touched the underworld fire dragon. Ong tilde 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 tilde. The blue dragon's face was hideous. The blue flames around its body were getting more and more vigorous. While on Gu Hai's body, red flames also filled his entire body. And in an instant, red flames rushed to the sky. Ka. The blue dragon advanced a little bit, but Gu Hai was showing an ugly face. Indestructible divine flame, you've really refined your heart orifices with the fire god, but how much of your undying divine flame can you have? Humph, the Eight of the East showed a scowl on his face. Who are you? The Eight of the East jumped on top of the underworld fire dragon's body and probed. In the name of my East, summon the god of the Eastern Spirit Fire Sea to grant me the undying underworld flame and destroy my enemy. The Eight of the East let out a loud shout. Boom! A blue dragon steeply surged out of the netherworld gate once again. And as soon as the blue dragon came out, it surged into the body of the previous blue dragon. And instantly the two blue dragons merged into one, transforming into a 40-foot blue dragon that roared with its mouth open and rushed towards where ancient sea was. The indestructible divine flame rushed to the sky around Gu Hai, and he was originally able to block the opposite side of the underworld flame dragon. But now, the underworld flame dragon's power had steeply doubled. At once, it suppressed Gu Hai's flames. The Eastern Eight's face showed a grimace as he maneuvered the underworld fire dragon. The underworld fire dragon seemed to be struggling a bit to break free from the Eastern Eight's control. Clearly, now the 40-foot underworld fire dragon was already the limit of the Eastern Eight's mastery. Gu Hai's face flushed slightly. In the fire god palace, the fire god had a large portion of his power suppressing the fire god, so today, it could only be the limit. If he let go of the fire god's suppression, he was able to defeat the blue dragon, but it was the fire god's samadhi flame, but it was able to injure himself. Gu Hai was torn, trying to support himself. On the other side, Fairy Winner seemed to be coming up to help. Winner, don't come over. I can do it. Gu Hai immediately drank. The underworld flame dragon hurt the divine soul, although Fairy Winner's flame was powerful, but it wasn't the undying divine flame R. The undying divine flame could block the underworld flame, but Fairy Winner's might not be able to. Gu Hai didn't want Fairy Winner to take any risks. In the distance, Jiong was coldly looking in Gu Hai's direction, seeing Gu Hai being suppressed by the Eastern Eight, but steeply narrowed his eyes. Gu Hai can't move. Now is the right time to kill him. You two, go kill him for me. Quick. An excitement flashed in Jiong's eyes and said. One of the guards, who had just had an arm chopped off by Gu Hai's face changed. Young prince, Gu Hai just said that he doesn't have a life and death grudge against you, and is willing to let you live. Why do we still need to? The broken-armed guard worriedly said. Bastard, I want him to die. I want him to die. Go, Jiong roared as his eyes glared. Yes, the two guards immediately answered. Whew. The two instantly rushed to where Gu Hai was. Not far away, When Fairy Wanna saw the two arrive, she steeply narrowed her eyes and her complexion moved as she greeted them. The broken armed guard stopped Fairy Wanna. Bear Yin. Fairy Wanna slashed her sword at the broken armed guard. Boom. That broken armed guard hastily slashed his sword and was immediately knocked backwards by Fairy Wanna. However, just in this small amount of time, another guard was suddenly at Gu Hai's side. Gu Hai, die. That guard let out a roar with a hideous face. With a sword, he chopped towards Gu Hai's side. It looked like the sword was about to chop Gu Hai. Don't. Fairy Wanna let out a cry of alarm. Whew. In an instant, Fairy Wanna blocked in front of Gu Hai, and the guard stabbed his sword, just in time to pierce Fairy Wanna through the heart. There. The sword passed through the body of the Wanna Fairy, and blood flowed out from the blade of the sword at the back of the Wanna Fairy. Boom. Gu Hai's head roared. Gu Hai had long felt Fairy Wanna's perversity during this period of time. But even if it was perverse, so what? It was fine if the person was fine. So Gu Hai also pretended not to know. But now, is the person still fine? Yes, this is Fairy Wanna. There is no mistake. A sword through the heart. Fairy Wanna grasped the opponent's sword blade with both hands, not allowing the blade to go in any further in case it hurt Gu Hai. That guard was also anxious, as his sword could not be pulled out by Fairy Wanna's grip. Die, bitch. That guard let out a roar. Boom. Above the longsword, countless sword chair in general abruptly erupted, instantly shooting out from the four sides of Fairy Wanna's body. In an instant, all of Wanna Fairy's body was shredded in general. No. Gu Hai steeply glared with both eyes and roared oddly. What? The Eight of the East's face abruptly changed. However, it was the undying divine flame emerging from Gu Hai's body that steeply skyrocketed by countless. Boom. Gu Hai no longer suppressed the fire god, and all of the undying divine flame surged out furiously. And in an instant, a great fire shot up into the sky, wrapping the underworld flame dragon in a twinkling. The fire god's samadhi flame instantly rushed straight around Gu Hai's body. Theft. A mouthful of blood spurted out from Gu Hai, once again being burned, but at this moment couldn't care less. Die for me. With a grimace on his face, Gu Hai blasted a fist at the underworld fire dragon. As the fist blasted out, all of the undying divine flame surged out furiously, and there was also a trace of samadhi true flame mixed in. The undying divine flame drowned the underworld fire dragon, but the trace of samadhi true flame instantly detonated the underworld fire dragon. Boom. The underworld fire dragon exploded apart. What? No. The Eastern Eight's face abruptly changed as he screamed in shock. It was because that trace of samsara flame instantly rushed into his body. No. Boom. The Eastern Eight was incinerated and exploded apart with a loud bang. Gu Hai couldn't even stand the samadhi flame when he had the undying divine flame to protect him, let alone the fact that the Oriental Eight's cultivation was inferior to Gu Hai's. Not to mention the fact that he didn't have the undying divine flame to protect him. It instantly exploded. Theft. Gu Hai once again sprayed out a mouthful of blood. However, at this moment, it was impossible to care about his injuries, as he picked up Immortal Wanna with his left hand, and with his right hand, the life execution blade was drawn, and a blade, interspersed with the undying divine flame and the trace of the samadhi flame of the Zhou Heavenly Three blasted out. I want you dead. Gu Hai's entire body flamed in all directions as he roared with a fierce face. No. That guard's sword was held by Wanna Fairy's death grip. The sword chair had just strangled Wanna Fairy's body and barely pulled it out. Where was it a match for Gu Hai's slash? Boom. Showing just a hint of panic, it suddenly exploded. Jiong, who was not far away, had a steep jolt. His entire body trembled and rose in shock. How could this happen? How could this happen? Between this lightning and fire, They all died. The 8 of the East is also dead. Young prince, quickly go. The broken-armed guard held on to Xiong and shot off into the distance. Gu Hai's face was hideous, and his eyes were bloodshot as he glanced at Xiong. Xiong, however, was in a state of shock and was taken far away by the broken-armed guard. Xiong, a bone-deep hatred flashed in Gu Hai's eyes. The Eastern Eighth was completely dead, and its 3 souls had already arrived at the Karma transformation pool, completely transforming into heaven-mending power. Gu Hai, however, was cradling Fairy Wanna, whose entire body was ablaze with flames, and his face revealed a wave of horror. Wanna, you'll be fine. Gu Hai quickly surged into Fairy Wanna's body with the heaven-mending force. Buzz! As the heaven-mending force surged into Wanna's body seemed to be accelerating its cremation, and where her arm was, it steeply turned into a burst of flame and disappeared. No, it can't be. Why can't the mending be good? Why can't the mending be good? Gu Hai was horrified in his anger. Immortal Wanna seemed to still have a breath. Using her other hand, she stroked Gu Hai's face. Gu Hai, listen to me. Fairy Wanna said weakly. You'll be fine. Wanna, you'll be fine. Gu Hai's eyes suddenly became moist. It was because Gu Hai realized that he was actually unable to do anything about Fairy Wanna's current condition. Once again. Gu Hai, I'm not done with you. You're the one who does more than you can do. You don't even have the Zither Dao intent, you liar. Gu Hai, I won't let you go, bastard. Gu Hai, listen. Nothing happened today. Neither you nor I ever. Never. Anyway, you need to forget about what happened earlier. Responsible. I don't need you to be responsible. Humph. We can't be together. Don't ask, okay. Past events echoed in his mind. Unknowingly, he had already experienced many things with Lin Wanna. At this moment, Fairy Wanna died under the enemy's sword in order to save herself. A knife stirred in Gu Hai's heart. Why? Chen Xiona was like this. Long Wanqing was like this. Why was Lin Wanna like this? Fairy Wanna weakly looked towards Gu Hai and touched his face. Forget about me. Okay. I've never appeared in front of you before. Forget about me. Okay. Please, Fairy Wanna said weakly. No, I can't forget. Gu Hai reddened his eyes. Listen to me. Go back to Keoj immediately. That person who killed me. You've already killed him. You've already taken your revenge. Listen to me. Go back to Keoj immediately and forget about me. Fairy Wanna said weakly. No. Tears slipped down as Gu Hai trembled. Please, go back to Keoj. Go back. Forget about me, please. Fairy Wanna's eyes were filled with expectation. With red eyes, Gu Hai trembled and nodded. Lin Wanna finally revealed a trace of a satisfied smile. Kiss me, Fairy Wanna said weakly. With tears in his eyes, Gu Hai hugged Fairy Wanna and kissed her lips. Wanna Fairy slowly closed her eyes as 2 tears slipped from the corners of her eyes. Farewell forever, my love, boom. The great fire that emerged from Fairy Wanna's body boomed and completely burned her body clean. Turning into flames, it slowly disappeared into the sky. No tilde 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 tilde. Gu Hai tore his heart out with a loud roar.